Peace be upon you, friends. How do you think the tears of an orphan bride, branded a thief and threatened with expulsion from her home, turned into a terrifying revenge? How did the pitch-black snake that emerged from the tea-chest, upon opening it, cling to the arm of the slandering sister-in-law and scream the truth? Your blood will run cold as you listen to this chilling manifestation of divine justice. In that ancient village nestled against the steep cliffs of Anatolia, where smoke rose from the roofs, the morning dawned before sunrise. In the two-story stone mansion with a large courtyard on the hillside, life began with the ethereal sound of the morning call to prayer. For Elif, the bride of this house, morning meant gratitude. Elif would rise before the roosters crowed, perform her ablutions with ice-cold water, and spread out her prayer mat. She had lost her mother and father years ago in a landslide, and since then she had always been heartbroken. The villagers had taken her in and raised her, but when a person doesn't have their own parents, no matter how vast the world may be, their heart feels constricted. When she married Murat, she shed tears, saying, quote, "0, she had come to this house not just as a bride, but as a daughter." That morning was no different. After performing her prayers, Elif went down to the kitchen. Before the smell of tarhana soup filled the house, she had to light the tandoor and milk the animals. She started every task with _quote _1_ in the name of God, never losing that innocent smile on her face. However, there was a pair of eyes watching her from behind the curtain of the window on the upper floor, eyes that held not the light of morning, but the darkness of night. These eyes belonged to Murat's older sister, Fikriye, the daughter of the house. Although Fikriye was advanced in age, she hadn't been able to marry. With the irritability that came from remaining unmarried, she had become increasingly withdrawn day by day. Her brother Murat's treating the orphaned girl with such care, and their mother Sultan Hanım's affectionate way of calling her _quote _2_ fueled the fire of envy in Fikriye's heart. "Look at this," Fikriye muttered to herself, clutching the curtain angrily. "It's as if an angel is making all this noise, getting up at dawn to please her. It wasn't enough that she took my brother from me. Now she's trying to fool my mother, but just you wait, Elif. If I don't send you back to that ruin you came from, then don't call me Fikriye. _quote _4_ This is the perfect time. If you don't do it now, you won't get another chance. Now let's see," Fikriye said with a poisonous smile. "Will that mask of innocence save you?" When afternoon arrived, all hell broke loose at home. When Sultan Hanım returned home and looked under her pillow, she let out that agonizing scream. "My father's legacy is gone. My house has been robbed." Quote 8. "What happened, mother?" Quote 9. "The bracelet is gone." Quote 10. "It was under my pillow. It's gone." Fikriye stepped onto the stage to play her role. With feigned panic, she looked here and there. "Mother, the door was locked. The window bars were strong. If someone had entered from outside, we would have heard it. There would have been a trace." "This wasn't done from the outside." Quote 12. "What are you saying, Fikriye? We're alone at home." Fikriye fixed her eyes slyly on Elif. "We're alone, mother, but people are flawed. You never know who's who. We said he was an orphan, a stranger. We embraced him, but maybe he has his eyes set on something higher. While my brother Murat is working his heart out in the fields, maybe he's fallen prey to the desires of some people." "Sister, what are you saying? Would I reach out to help you? I'd rather starve than do that." That evening, when Murat returned from the field and parked the tractor in the yard, he was smiling, but his smile froze when he breathed in the heavy air inside the house. His mother was wailing in a corner, Fikriye was biting her nails by the window, and Elif was silently crying on the kitchen threshold. "I hope everything is all right?" Murat asked in a loud voice. "What's wrong with you all? It's like a funeral home." Fikriye immediately jumped up. She took her brother's arm. "Her brother. Our mother's heirloom, that huge gold bracelet, has been stolen. There's no one else in the house besides us. I say we should search. Elif, the bride, says she won't let us search and is crying." Elif lifted her head. Her eyes were bloodshot. "I didn't say I wouldn't search, Murat. My sister is slandering me. She says I stole it. God is my witness. I have never eaten a single haram, forbidden morsel." Murat looked at his wife. He knew her. He knew her fear of God. But his mother was also crying, saying it was my father's heirloom. There was a robbery and the doors were locked. Once suspicion enters a person's heart, it gnaws at even the strongest trust. "Okay, Murat said, his voice booming. "Since there's a thief in the house, he'll be found. No one should accuse anyone else. Everyone's room and chest will be searched. Start with my room." This was the statement Fikriye had been waiting for. With the air of a victorious commander, she stepped forward. "That's the right thing to do, brother. A clean person has no fear." They all went into the bedroom. The air in the room had become heavy. "Murat, this chest is my honor. It contains my mother's scent. If you open it and search for that forbidden thing here, my right to you will be violated." Fikriye intervened. "Why are you afraid, bride? Or are you hiding something?" Murat was caught between his sister's pressure and his mother's weeping. He gently but firmly pulled Elif aside. "Open it, Elif," he said. "Open it so that our faces may be clear." "Let this discord be silenced." Elif recoiled, a single tear rolling down her cheek. Fikria, like a treasure hunter, knelt beside the chest. She opened the lid furiously. She roughly threw the lace covers, prayer rugs, and towels to the floor. When she reached the bundle at the very bottom, Fikria paused. Murat and Sultan Hanum held their breath. Fikria picked up the embroidered headscarf, lifted it into the air, and shook it. Time stopped. The heavy yellow, metallic glint sliding through the fabric struck the wooden floor. Clink. That sound was the sound of Elif's world collapsing. The bracelet gleamed on the floor right at Murat's feet. Sultan Hanum put her hand to her mouth. Murat froze in place. His face turned deathly pale. Elif, unable to believe what she saw, covered her head with her hands as if in a nightmare. Fikri picked up the bracelet from the floor. She triumphantly raised it into the air. "Did you see—" "Brother," she shouted. Her voice echoed in the room. "Didn't I tell you? You've been harboring a snake in your bosom. This orphaned, innocent-faced bride, it turns out, is the thief of our house." Murat's gaze slowly turned to Elif. There was no longer love in that look. There was disappointment, anger, and shame. Elif wanted to scream, "I didn't do it! Shame on you! I considered you a stranger, an orphan. I embraced you. Did you covet my mother's livelihood, Elif?" Elif crawled on her knees and clung to her husband's trousers. "Murat, don't. I swear I didn't take it. I swear I didn't know. Someone played a trick on me. Someone put it there. Quote, 30. She's still lying. Who would put her there? Demons? Didn't we say we'd be alone in the house? Shameless. And she's crying and trying to evoke pity. Brother, throw her out the door. She should be thankful we didn't hand her over to the gendarmes." Sultan Hanum picked up her bracelet from the floor and wiped it on her headscarf. Not a trace of the old affection she'd felt for her daughter-in-law remained on her face. "My milk is not halal to you, Murat," the old woman said in a trembling voice. "If you still keep this thief as your wife, I will not forgive you my motherly rights." "There is no place for a thief in my house." Sultan Hanum and Fikriya left the room. Murat looked one last time at his wife, who was crying on the floor in the middle of the room. Something inside him had broken. The woman he loved was gone, replaced by a stranger. He angrily clutched his pillow and blanket. "Tonight, and for nights to come, you will be left in this room to grapple with your sins," he said, slamming the door and leaving. That night Elif cried until morning on the cold wooden floor beside her chest. She hugged her mother's photograph. "Mother," she said, "you left me to the wolves. To whom can I go now? Who will believe me?" The next morning the sun rose, but there was no sun for that mansion anymore. Life had turned into hell for Elif. Murat may not have sent her to her father's house, but she was treated worse than a servant, a slave in the house. She wasn't allowed to sit at the table. Let the thief's hand not touch the bread. Go eat in the stable. The daughter-in-law is a little unwell, she can't go out. But indirectly hinted at Elif's theft to the whole village. Whispers had started at the village fountain. "Did you hear? Sultan Hanum's daughter-in-law stole a bracelet. Oh dear, one can't trust even a child who's been breastfed. This prison life lasted a week. Elif was wasted away, reduced to skin and bones. But she never stopped praying, never stopped trusting in God." It was a Thursday night. The village was in a deep sleep. Murat was sleeping on the divan in the reception room. Elif spread her prayer mat in her room next to that ominous chest. She renewed her ablution. After performing 2 rakahs of prayer, she raised her hands to the sky. She prayed so sincerely, so passionately, that it was as if even the walls of the room witnessed her cry. "O Lord," she said with sobs, "I have no one. You are my protector. I have no mother to caress my head. I have no father to stand behind me. My husband has turned his back on me. I'm branded a thief by the world. You know the hearts, O God. If I have reached out to that forbidden thing, take my life tonight. Don't let me see the morning. But if I am innocent, if this is a slander, you are the light. You illuminate the darkness. Reveal my innocence." Quote 41. "Be patient, Elif, be patient. Patience leads to salvation. Allah is your protector. Oh, our thieving daughter-in-law has woken up. What's that? What did you steal in your dream last night?" For the first time, Elif held her head high. She looked into Fikriye's eyes with that pure, fearless gaze. "I am not a thief, sister," she said calmly. "Allah knows, and you cannot hide what Allah knows from people. One day that truth will come out. Pray that you will have a face to be ashamed of on that day." Fikriya was startled by that look. A fear gripped her, but she quickly composed herself. "Look at me," she shouted. "Who do you think you're defying? You'll get out of this house. You can't fool my brother anymore. Today is Friday. After Friday prayers, my brother will take you to your father's dilapidated house. Prepare your bundle." Elif wasn't even upset by this news. Whatever God wills, he wills beautifully, she thought to herself. She went to her room and started packing her belongings. She opened that chest, that dowry chest. She was going to empty everything inside and stuff it into bundles. Meanwhile, Fikriya said to her mother downstairs, "Mother, let me check the other gold in the chest." so that this snake doesn't steal anything else on her way out. Quote 50. I'll search the bottom of the chest thoroughly, she said. The devil was tempting her. He wanted to humiliate Elif one last time, perhaps even plant another incriminating evidence in the chest. The noon prayer was called. Murat and the men of the village went to the mosque. The house was left to the women again. Fikriya burst into Elif's room. Move aside, she said. I'll search that chest. I'll see what you're taking with you on your way out. Go ahead, sister. Quote 55. She stole my ring, too. Quote 56, sister. Quote 57. My daughter, what happened? Quote 58. A snake is going to bite my child. Help, neighbors. Fikriya is struggling. Save me. It's going to break my arm. It's going to bite me. Stop, sister. Don't move, Elif said, reaching out her hand to the snake. At that moment, something happened that chilled everyone in the room to the bone. The black snake that had just been spewing death at Fikriya turned its head away when it saw Elif's hand. It stopped hissing and calmed down, but it never released Fikriya's arm. It was as if it was saying, I have no business with you, innocent girl. My score is with this cruel creature. At that moment, the courtyard gate burst open. Murat, returning from Friday prayers, heard the screams coming from inside and ran upstairs without even taking off his shoes. He was breathless when he entered the room. What's happening here? What's all this commotion? The scene he witnessed was one Murat would never forget. His sister Fikri was kneeling beside a chest, struggling with a pitch-black snake coiled around her arm. His mother lay unconscious on the floor. His wife, Elif, whom he called a thief, was desperately trying to help her sister. Murat immediately reached for the family heirloom rifle hanging on the wall. Then he changed his mind. The snake was coiled around his sister's arm. If he fired, he might hit her too. He grabbed the thick stick from the corner. Get out of the way, Elif. Kids, he shouted. I'll tear that animal to pieces. Quote 64. Don't hit me, brother. Don't hit me. It's squeezing. Every time you hit me, it squeezes my bones. Murat stopped the stick in midair. The snake turned to Murat. It fixed its dark eyes on Murat's. Murat couldn't believe that an animal's eyes could have such a deep, meaningful gaze, but he saw it. There was no threat in that look. There was a warning. It was as if it was saying, stop and watch. Fikriya was exhausted from crying and fear. The snake's cold body burned her skin. Its venomous fangs were close to her neck, as if they would pierce her carotid artery at any moment. She was face to face with death. Elif spoke softly from where she was. Although her voice trembled, her faith gave her strength. Murat, she said, this snake didn't come for nothing. Look, it's not touching me. It's not attacking you. It's only holding my sister. And it did so just as it reached into the chest. Murat looked at his wife in astonishment, then at his sister. Fikriya, Murat said. His voice was icy. What were you looking for in the chest? Elif was leaving anyway. What were you doing at the bottom of that chest? Fikriya stammered. She wanted to lie. I was looking for my ring, she was about to say, but the moment she opened her mouth, the snake brought its head close to Fikriya's mouth and hissed so loudly that Fikriya's heart leaped into her throat. She felt the breath of death on her face. Fikriya understood. This snake was no ordinary reptile. This snake was the answer to Elif's prayer that night. If I am innocent, please let me know, Lord. This snake was divine justice itself. She knew for sure that if she lied, those fangs would sink into her throat. Fikriya, my daughter. Speak, Fikriya. Why won't this animal leave you alone? What are you hiding? For God's sake, tell the truth. Otherwise, you will die here. Okay, I'll tell you. Just take this off me. I'm dying. Tell me. What did you do? Elif didn't steal it, she said, her voice trembling. The bracelet. I took the bracelet. I took it from under my mother's pillow. What? You took it? To destroy your sister's home? Did you steal your own mother's property? Thank God. What a pity. So be it. May my milk be forbidden to you, Fikriya. I raised you to be like a second mother to me. You set fire to your brother's home. You stole your own mother's property and branded another orphan as a thief. Even if that snake had bitten you and killed you, I still wouldn't be able to look Elif in the face out of shame. Fikriya wanted to fall at her mother's feet, but Sultan Hanum pulled back. Don't touch me. Go to your room. Repent. I don't want to see you. Fikriya crawled out of the room like a shadow. She was no longer the lady of this house, but a living monument of shame. When the room was empty, only Murat, standing like a ruin, and Elif, with her head held high but her eyes filled with tears, remained. Murat tried to look at his wife, whom he hadn't looked at for days, whom he had humiliated by calling her a quote 87 and sent to the stable, but he couldn't. He couldn't lift his head. He was experiencing the greatest humiliation a man could endure. He had incurred the wrath of an innocent woman. Murat slowly knelt down. That mountain of a man had shrunk like a child. He could only say, quote, 88. His voice was hoarse, cracked. Quote, 89. I said she was my sister, and I believed her. I said she was my mother, and I trusted her. I couldn't see that pure heart of yours. Hit me in the face. Yell, scream. Say you won't forgive me, but please don't be silent. Your silence is killing me. Alif left the chest. She came to her husband's side. She reached out and placed her hand on Murat's shoulder. There was no anger in that touch, no revenge, only deep sorrow and resignation. Get up, Murat, Alif said softly. Get up, silence doesn't suit you. We are the helpless servants of God. Murat stood up, but couldn't hold back his tears. How will you forgive me? I left you hungry. I looked down on you. I tried to send you back to your father's house. If that snake hadn't come and shown me the truth, I would have thrown you into the fire with my own hands. Alif took a deep breath. She looked at the Uluda mountains visible from the window. I will forgive you, Murat. Because our prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is forgiving. He loves to forgive. I am a helpless servant. Holding grudges doesn't suit me. But Elif paused. She placed her hand on her heart. But the heart is like a glass palace. Murat, once it's broken, even if it's repaired, the scar remains. I forgive you. But that trust from the first day, that broken branch won't sprout again immediately. Time is needed. Patience is needed. Prayer is needed. Murat kissed his wife's hand and placed it on his forehead. I will strive to make that room sprout again as long as I live, Elif, I swear. From that day on, life in the mansion changed. Fikriye. For months she couldn't leave her room. She couldn't look anyone in the face out of shame. But the truly instructive thing was something else. The bruises on her right arm, where the snake had bitten her, never went away. No matter how much ointment they applied, no matter how many doctors they went to, the marks wouldn't disappear. It was as if the mark of that black snake remained on her arm, like an invisible bracelet, forever with Fikriye. The villagers began to call her _93_. This was her punishment in this world. Fikriye spent the rest of her life in prayer and repentance. She tried to cleanse the poison she had inflicted with her words, with her tears. Sultan Hanum cherished Elif. Where she used to call her, 94, she now called her, 95, every disrespect shown to her daughter-in-law was seen as disrespect shown to herself. And Elif, that orphaned, that poor Elif, saw the reward for her patience. A year later, the sound of a baby filled that sorrowful mansion. God gave them a beautiful baby boy. They named him Adil, justice, so that they would never forget God's justice. When Elif, if she opened her dowry chest, she would look at that embroidered headscarf and give thanks. That chest held not only her dowry, but also God's message, I am here. This event spread by word of mouth in the village. It became a legend. Whenever someone was about to slander another, the elders would immediately warn them, remember the mark on Fikriye's arm. Don't forget the snake in the chest. Don't take the curse of the oppressed. It will come back to haunt you slowly but surely. And that mansion never again remained under the shadow of injustice, slander, and arrogance, because everyone knew that this house had an invisible guardian, a master who answered the prayers of the oppressed. My dear friends, the tongue is boneless, but it inflicts the greatest wound. Slander against a person is the most painful violation of human rights.